back, guys. This will be episode 3 of the Baseline Addiction podcast. We're back. We still have continued to receive lovely continued support throughout this process. A couple things to really touch up on. We are extremely excited to announce that we filled our class coming up.
Yeah, couple weeks away. We're really excited. Good turnout. A lot of people from different places.
Good variety.
So, we're excited to get that going and hopefully progress from there. I will note, if any of you guys listening, or if you sign up for our class and you love it and you're like, hey, there's other people I want to see this, email us. Let's get set up so we can host a training at your agency. There's no cost to them. If they have any questions, they can reach out to us and we can get that going. Kind of spread the wealth a little bit.
I think it's been a very humbling process. Not just like the beginning process of the training. Like, right. I mean, we posted that and going, like, looking back and like self-reflecting. I mean, we filled half of it in 2 days?
Yeah.
And you know, we've had people, not to like try to toot our own horn here because we're humble people, but like we got some emails from some people that, you know, said they knew us, said they'd heard about our work, and were truly excited to come and hear two idiots talk.
Well, the biggest thing is like anybody can say you're good, or they know what they're doing, or hey, the videos you guys post are cool, but the fact that we have now 40 people coming to see actually what we're about, so we can, you know, show them like, yeah, we know what we're talking about. Yeah, this isn't BS.
And I think too, like
a lot.
I think like looking at the class list, like there's people with so much variety and experience.
Yeah, sure, from different agencies all over Ohio.
From patrolmen to
we had people from another state. I won't mention what state, but even reach out, and
that was wild.
They were going to send 2 people. Now they didn't go all the way through with it, but that was pretty cool to know that like we're spreading.
Yeah, like
stateside.
I mean, I will say, like, especially for our class, I would say, like, as of right now, like we're definitely more Ohio oriented. So that would have been a really unique experience to try to do some research to benefit them coming as well for their state, because I don't know what their state laws are. Obviously, like, we're not going to go into where they're from, but like seeing 2 people reach out to us from a different state was kind of really cool.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be really a neat experience over time to see if we get any more of that, and see if we can also do the research of
do the research about these other states. They're,
because do you know anything about?
I do not. Nothing at all.
Did you know that like Ohio is like one of like the more uniform states that most people? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like Ohio, Florida are very similar.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I think Texas is one, and California.
A lot of them will recognize like our academies, so you only have to do like refresher courses.
I looked into that.
So yeah, I did too at one point.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm from Florida, so like I lived there for 12 years of my life, and there's definitely been times where I'm like, not like recently, because I love where I'm at. Don't get me wrong. I got some exciting things coming, hopefully, that I could not be more excited for. But like, especially like fresh out of high school and college, like when I knew I wanted to do this job, but like I didn't know where, because I didn't, wasn't tying down at the time, and I kind of wanted to look at all my options, and I still have some family down in Florida, and I was looking at it, and I was like, first of all, pay rate a little bit more elevated in Florida, but the cost of living's a little bit different.
Florida boys are wild.
Oh, dude,
wild,
dude. I just turn on an episode of Live PD. You see freaking Broward County Sheriff's Office down there in Miami. I mean, listen, I lived in Miami, like about 30 minutes outside of Miami for a year in middle school. And I mean, I know I was young, but like, dude, bomb threats every week, fights every day. I mean, every night, wee-woos. And it was like you ever seen the video with like the guys are walking on the front porch and they hear the neighbor shooting. He's like, "Oh, you done walked up the wee-woos." And they're out front, and they're like, No. So in all seriousness, though, we're excited. We could not be happier to see, close to 40 people show up, and we're so excited to share what we have to what we're willing to teach. On another note,
I'm sure some of you are looking at my hat and probably wondering, and like they're like, "What the hell?" It's so crazy. I've actually been wearing this hat all day, but it actually goes perfect with this episode we're going to talk about. I want to apologize in advance because I'm very passionate about this. Obviously, we're both very passionate people. This kind of breaks down on why we started this. Um, so I first want to say, like we mentioned in our class, we're not associated with any law enforcement agency, even though we are law enforcement officers. This is not the views or beliefs of any law enforcement agency.
It's two goose talking into a mic.
Not to spoil it, but we are going to talk about some, not talk about, but kind of bring up some things, maybe mention some police administrations. We are not referring to our administration. Our administration is actually very, very supportive of our proactivity on the road.
But I think in talking to people over the course of 5, 6, 7 years, I guess it's topics that we're going to talk about that we hear from other people
for sure, and that you
topics
see every day
that we see.
And
yes,
don't get me wrong, there may be some things that we have dealt with or seen. It's not all just about this podcast isn't about administrations. But it kind of goes into things. So to mention, it's going to be proactive policing as a whole.
And the question is proactive policing dead?
Is it dead? So that, everybody knows the people that know me, they know I'm very, very hard on, proactivity, and proactive policing is the way. It's this, that. Is it dead though? And absolutely, I think it is.
I think when you get into this job, like, especially like doing this for 5 years, like I have the thought of like every cop's proactive.
Yeah. No.
Every agency supports proactivity. And because like why wouldn't you?
Right.
Like
growing up, you see the cop shows, it's nothing but, I don't want to say proactivity, it's all proactivity, but a lot of it is, okay, you have your LAPD Hollywood scenes where it's guns and shooting, and
you don't see a lot of reactive behavior. Is that a way of putting it?
Right, but how it's always, there's proactivity somewhere in it. And I think that's the meat and potatoes of policing, and it should be. And if it's not, in my opinion, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's a problem across the U.S. right now.
I couldn't agree more with you, because, like I said, I think after doing this for so long, like, you would think agencies would support it. You would think communities would almost expect it.
Mhm.
However, I mean, there's so many different variables now when it comes to the viewpoint of proactive policing, when it comes to how administrations write their policies,
Mhm.
how citizens view the actions, whether right or wrong, which we're going to get into later.
Right.
On if you did the right thing.
Right.
And ultimately, one of the biggest things, going into 2026, the fear.
Right.
Of slipping up in the most minor way, which would be, I mean, obviously, listen, if you fuck up, I'm the first one to say you fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna allow you to fuck up to the point of where it's a legitimate problem and
a safety concern.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'll be honest, but right. I think the more minute things, the scrutiny that comes from that, from whether it be, department backlash or, fear of civil litigation. Because I mean, more and more people, or more and more states, I should say, like, qualified immunity is starting to go. I mean, that's a hot topic in this country right now. Right. So I think where we have to start, though, but like, is what is proactive policing? Let's start with that
so first
level.
I'll say, and when I mentioned before that it's dead, and what I mean by that, just to elaborate, like, you see it in roll call, you see it on your shifts, you hear that 20-year-old guy, the 15-year vet, they're oh, this is stupid. The famous saying that grinds my gears, it sends me over the edges. We make the same amount of money. Why are you going out making these arrests, going to court, or doing this when you can make the same amount of money and go to calls? You're absolutely right, 110%. But this is where I don't understand. Let's take it back to whenever you decided to become a police officer. Whether you were 8 years old, whether you were 25 years old, and had a late start. Something, you did not sign up for this job because you said it would be awesome to go handle theft reports and barking dogs and neighbors disputes. Never in a million years has anybody ever said that. Nobody ever said that. So what made you decide, I'm gonna go be a cop? That would be really cool. It's the proactivity that you see, whether it's videos on TV, on, like, that's where
YouTube
it came from.
videos, social
Right.
media.
So, like you said, we're going to talk about proactive policing as a whole, and I think proactive policing is not important just for a police officer or a police agency, but also the civilians. Because you think, like, on every car, what do you have? It probably says somewhere on your cruiser, protect and serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the community is what we're working for. And they're the ones that
They're the ones that sign our paycheck. They
don't even
they,
get me
they
started.
pay our
Don't
salary.
get me started. No, but they're the ones that feel the heat just like we do. So
They have expectations for us.
right,
I mean, and we don't mean going out there and hammering stops for no reason. But I'm not gonna. I've got to be careful with that because we preach that like you want to go out and you want to establish your baseline, but like purposeful,
right,
you know, target oriented stops looking for specific things. That's what we're talking about. Like we're not talking about finding the same person that you got to stick up your butt for that you've been following for so long and and you've struck out on that person more than once. We're talking about a target oriented approach, going out looking at behaviors that we teach, observing criminal indicators, whether it be on day shift, afternoon shift, midnight shift. I mean, it's it's one of the biggest and most misunderstood, at least in society's eyes,
right,
concepts of policing, when in reality, it has the most beneficial impact to your community.
for sure, for sure.
I mean,
It's
there's no question.
it's the going out and stopping that car
Before it
the
happens.
shooting happens.
Exactly.
Getting that gun before that car drives down 123 Main Street and shoots the place up, and now you have a victim. 9 times out of 10, it's a 2 or 3 year old kid who has nothing to do with what's going on, and now they're either seriously injured or dead.
Yeah.
All because
Or you stop a car and that person was on the way to sell it,
right,
and it led to an overdose
for sure.
of
And not to mention they passed 5 cops on the way there, and it just because they make the same amount of money, or they're not a drug guy, or listen, motherfucker, you got a vest that says police, you got a badge and a gun. Do your job. Don't be worthless. So
yeah. I mean, there are so many more benefits to being proactive than reactive. I mean, you can literally go out there and change the future,
mhm,
and departments can push and advocate for that, and some departments are not. And that is the most baffling concept to me. And we're gonna go into some reasons why. I think we talked about a little bit about it, or at least I did. The fear,
for sure.
the fear of it,
The
and
complaints, the discipline, that next viral video on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and you're doing your job, but it looks bad, right?
here's the thing too. Like one thing that I correlate all the time is you could have the most perfect career. You could have 10,000, 100,000 contacts, and all of them are good.
Right.
Every single one. Your reputation is pristine because you're known as the guy that goes out and helps people. You're known as the proactive one that goes and pulls, guns and narcotics or even warrants, without even having to really look for them. One bad thing
Right.
negates that entire legacy.
Right.
And I think so many people are afraid of that. And they're afraid of it not because they think that they're going to do it, but I think it's the unknown of the ever-changing policies, laws, and the lack of confidence when people stand up to you.
Well, that's what I was. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about administrations. So nowadays, let's just be real. Okay, it's 2026. Police policies aren't written to help officers or save them. Essentially, they're written to save the agency. If Officer Joe Schmo fucks up, guess what? We have this policy that you probably just acknowledge because you get 30 a month and you have to click through them, and you acknowledge the policy. Now this is our way of saying we told you. You acknowledge the policy.
It's a security
You're on
blanket.
your own. Right.
It's a security blanket. And, like you said, 10. I mean, most of the time they're put in place when someone mess up. For example, Mr. Minneapolis, right? Or is it Derek Chauvin is his name? The
officer, yeah.
Yeah, the officer. I'm not condoning in any way what he did, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tie in this situation to our podcast, right? The policy that they had wrote that said that, chokeholds or, any form of restraint that would obstruct the carotid in that way, that policy that they had written was written after that happened.
Yeah.
It was in their policy that what what that officer did was correct in their policy. He didn't violate a policy. However, to protect against media scrutiny,
Well, yeah.
and again, again, I'm not condoning what he did at all. I'm not supporting what he did. But what I'm saying is that's an example of when something that is viewed so negatively or causes such a negative reaction, these policies are written after.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem across the board right now is everybody, so officers, administrations, they're worried about how it looks or what people think. What is this agency going to look like? What are
Public opinion.
the public opinion? You know, are we going to get blasted on Facebook this day? Are we going to get blasted on YouTube this day? Are we going to be on some body cam page because, we're now backing what this officer did? They do that as well as newer officers, and that's the problem is you have these younger officers, and I've seen it before, that are scared to do the job because of what may happen, because they don't have the backing.
The backing is the biggest thing.
And usually the thing is with the backing, it's not that they don't, in some circumstances, that they don't want to back you. It's you have people that have never been a cop a day in their career, and now they are in power, and it's what they say goes, and they're telling you how to do your job. My biggest pet peeve. My biggest pet peeve with everything is a supervisor, whether you're a sergeant, lieutenant, captain, chief, assistant chief, deputy chief, corporal, whatever you want to call it, they have never been a cop. And when I say cop, listen, I'm going to say there's a difference between a police officer and a cop. And if you have to ask me what the difference is, I know what you are. You're a police officer. There's police officers that promote that have never been a cop a day in their career, and now you're going to tell a cop how to do their job.
Or one of the other biggest problems.
You're going to tell them how to write a use of force report, and they've been in one use of force in their entire career, and you've been in 57. They're going to tell you how to write a drug complaint or how to articulate a traffic stop or how to articulate reasonable suspicion, and they have never done it.
Or the reality of when people forget where they came from.
For sure.
Forget how they started. And going back a little bit to you, because I got kind of a little fired up a little bit, is what makes people successful in this job? We've talked about this in other podcasts. The police academy doesn't properly train you.
For sure. No.
Doesn't properly prepare you for what you're going to see on a day-to-day basis in this job for the next 20, 30 years. How do we learn on this job? Experience and from fucking up. You learn from fucking up.
Or other people's fuck ups who have now said, listen, I fucked up. Like you mentioned before in the beginning, I fucked up. I'm going to tell you fucked up, but now I'm going to fix it.
Again, not serious fuck ups. Like you fucked up seriously.
We're not
You're
talking
cooked.
about.
Sorry.
Right.
Nice knowing you. Sorry. But fuck ups that can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid to make those type of fuck ups because those are the only way that you're going to learn. And the other people are going to learn. Obviously, listen, we are human at the end of the day. Nobody's perfect. And there's also, going back to the agency part of it, the different type of reaction and or discipline for certain types of people when they fuck up.
Sure.
Do you understand where I'm going with that? Because, Susie Joe could fuck up who's liked in the department or has, whatever positive background.
Right.
And then,
But usually what's well liked or a positive background in a department? Usually somebody who's never been written up, somebody who
isn't confrontational.
doesn't create problems. And when I say problems, I'm talking about the complaints, the now I'm a supervisor, I have to go out to this call because this person's upset with how they handled this call. Just non-confrontational, just a yes man. And listen, I don't got nothing wrong with a yes man.
There's pros and cons of a yes man.
But at the same time, do your job.
Yes. So what I was saying with that is then there's also the people that maybe like to stand up a little bit. I'm not saying they're good or bad cops. The more of the, not afraid to speak their mind, as I'll call it.
I know a few of those.
I do too. Just believe it or not, I'm not going to say any names. But for our visual or visual listeners, you may have just seen what just happened, but I'll just keep that to myself. But the punishment for those people are different, whether it be more severe. And what does that do? Unequal punishment in a department creates negative morale.
Sure.
Because that goes back into the fear of okay, I made a mistake. Or, I'm going out and I'm putting myself in a position to make more mistakes. What's going to happen to me? How am I going to get disciplined if a mistake like that were to happen? Or the department's viewpoint is I have all these proactive people at my department. All it takes is for one arrest to go wrong. One person to push the issue to court.
Sure.
One pursuit to end in a negative manner.
10 seconds of a body cam clip.
10 motherfucking
10 seconds. That's all it takes. The video could be 23 minutes long. 10 seconds of it.
Clip it.
10 seconds.
Snip it, clip it. Yeah. There's no context, no backstory.
The biggest thing is like, I'm sure you guys have heard it, like, we're our biggest enemy. So,
yes.
like,
yes.
Cops have never been scared of these criminals or shitheads that we deal with. Never. We're not afraid of the public or afraid to go out and do our job. We're afraid of what might happen if you do your job because of the way it looks, or this person got a bruise here, or
feelings got hurt.
Right.
And I think it's so important to realize that if proactive policing isn't a thing, if it isn't pushed, if it isn't supported, again, the right ways of proactive policing, there's so many negative impacts. Because proactive policing can stop, doesn't mean violence will. Doesn't mean your drug traffickers are also going to pack it up and go on vacation. Doesn't mean your people that have guns that shouldn't have guns aren't going to be like, you know what? I'm going to put that bitch on layaway. Because, I'm a changed man.
Well, what happens when proactive policing dies? It's like violence doesn't die. People aren't going to stop selling drugs. People, people who have warrants aren't going to decide I'm going to go in court and show up.
Well, and two, you're putting cops in a place where they're less visible. They're not out trying to be go-getters. They're not out being seen by the public, which ultimately, as much as we want to go out and have fun and find things, our presence is also a deterrent. It's a big deterrent.
Well, that's that. Oh, don't even get me started.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. And this goes back to, I keep mentioning it, but my hat. When you say presence, okay, I promise you, even if you don't believe so, you could sit on a main road with your lights on and stare at your phone and not put your head up one time, and you will do more than sitting in a park where you cannot be seen and be looking at the deer run across the field.
Or your police agency.
What I'm saying about that is just your presence, it sends a message, for one, and it also deters people. If I'm driving down Main Street and I see a cop sitting here and I go past him and I look and I see him looking at me, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, like he's on to me. Like, how do these like you can't control how your mind works sometimes. Just you sitting there, or the gas station I'm gonna rob around the corner. Well, there's a cop sitting 2 blocks away. Like, can't go do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, nobody should drive through a city, a township, or a village and never see a cruiser. I don't care if you have one person working. If you're at an agency where you have one cop on the road at a time, you better go sit on that main drag that is 2 miles long that runs through your village and sit there so they know that you're sitting there. Because the perception of it is realistically, if you drive through a village, me personally, I'm thinking, oh, not gonna see a cop here because there's probably one on, and realistically, he's probably at the station sleeping, or it's
Speaking from experience, I worked for that small agency.
like
I worked by myself for 3.5 years, and you know what I was doing? Listen, I had my fair share of South Park moments at PD because I learned the good old TV schedule that South Park ran from midnight to 5 a.m. and then from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. were some weird sex infomercials, so it was not great. However, for the majority of that time, there was a little ice cream shop right on our main drag that literally drove right through the center of our downtown and drove all the way up into a bigger city. Just sitting there alone is so much more beneficial than me riding at station and watching South Park, as much as there was times that I wanted to do that instead. But you can still make it, like, if you are not in the mood to do something that day.
I'm a reasonable person. I already know where you're going with this, and I agree 100%. And everybody knows this. Listen, it's been cold recently. It's been really cold.
Dude,
so there's been
today was 25 degrees. I thought it was fucking summer.
Yeah. There's been days where it's like, can't really, like I said, mentioned before in previous podcast, like my hands and fingers are burning because I'm searching a car or I'm just standing out of the car. Listen, everybody has their days. But if that's a day, go sit on the main road.
You can still
change somebody's mind because they go past you, and
you can still make so much more of an impact by going out there and just simply being seen.
Right.
That's a form of proactivity.
Sure.
You don't have to go out and make a bunch of arrests.
Yeah.
If you don't want to. I mean, listen, this is a long job.
Right.
They just keep bumping up that fucking timeline until you can retire. That's the truth. There's going to be days in this job where you don't feel like doing something.
Sure. I'd be lying if I said I went out every single day of my career and was like just hammering it, trying to get something.
Listen, I'll be honest.
More than none. More than, often, but
rain, heavy rain, moderate rain, sometimes light rain, snow, extreme cold.
See, he's a little soft. He might melt.
All right,
but
okay, hold.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll go.
I'd like to see your fucking stats during the last fucking. I'd like to see your stats during these winter storms. Don't you start with
this? Is a conversation we'll have after this podcast.
Don't you start with me. Okay. Regardless, just go out there and make your presence known.
Mm-hmm.
That concept alone could change the course of history.
Or if you're a hard charger, go out and make that stop. Focus on these behaviors. Go stop the car, even if it's nothing. Go out there and be that stop that finds that gun that prevents a shooting, or find the fentanyl that's about to kill some 35-year-old female who has 3 kids.
And that's why this problem and this topic isn't just a problem for us.
Yeah.
It's a societal problem because the people that we are sworn to protect and the people that we are mostly interacting with, the expectations that they have for us, or, the societal viewpoints of us not wanting us to be proactive and not being supportive, it affects them just as much.
Sure.
Because we're not being seen.
Maybe not right away.
No,
but long term, and the shootings, the overdoses. Now their 13-year-old kid thinks it's cool to be a gun toucher and sell a bit of dope here and there. Yeah, so it creates
that Band-Aid is going to slowly start to rip off.
Sure.
And they'll see the impact. Now, will they admit that it's a problem? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Because then guess what? It'll still be our fault. Still be our fault. Always is our fault. Again, that's fine. But That's why this topic is so important, because it affects everything. It affects patrol. It affects administration.
The biggest thing right now is, I'm sure, like, if you're there's everybody knows there's certain agencies that have a no pursuit policy whatsoever. Once again,
Thank you, our administration.
yeah, our administration is very supportive of, we still pursue.
Again, we're just here talking. You guys are great.
So let's like, it's no secret there's numerous agencies. Let's say there's more agencies that don't pursue than there are that do pursue.
There's agencies around where we work that are like, I hope they drive towards you guys, because we know that you guys will not let them go.
Right.
And trust me.
The biggest thing though is like, I hate the perception of what's the reason for the stop. Well, it's a turn signal.
Or no, the reason for the stop is they're running because they're running for a reason.
They're running for a reason. Nobody's running because they didn't use a turn signal. Nobody's running because they have a suspended driver's license. Some people aren't running because they have a small amount of meth that they're going to get issued a summons for.
Man, that plate light. If I get stopped because my plate light goes out, I can't handle that $75 ticket.
It's ridiculous. So let's just, as a whole, and I think that's what everybody hides around. Well, we're not chasing for a turn signal violation. Don't get me wrong. Day shift in a heavily populated area or downtown area doing 75.
There are times.
I understand completely.
There are times where it is a high risk situation that you are genuinely putting the public at risk. Sure. And sometimes you have to eat the bullet, swallow the pride.
Right.
And take the L.
Nonetheless, I'm willing to bet my entire paycheck that if every single agency that doesn't pursues for a month straight, they decide, nope, we're going to pursue everything, I guarantee you'll have less pursuits. There was, and I'm pretty sure we mentioned this, we may have in our first episode or not, but there was a reputation for our department, our county as a whole. Mm-hmm. So a little sidestep, we used to have just solid blue lights for like our takedown lights. They were blue. We didn't have red and blues. Every agency around us had red and blue lights. There was, and we've heard from numerous people we've stopped, we've chased, there was a thing going on saying, hey, if you see blue lights, pull over because they'll chase you till the wheels fall off. Mm-hmm. Us, as well as our state highway patrol, had blue lights. We're the only ones in the county that had blue lights. Well, the second part of this was, if you see red and blue lights, just keep going because they're not going to chase you. That's a problem.
It's a problem.
We now have red and blue lights. People know. They'll come to where we work and they'll say, like, this is why I don't come here. This is why I don't, I'm not gonna. It have that reputation, and you'll have less pursuits. These agencies that, nope, we're not gonna pursue, they have.
You know how many times from criminals I've heard?
Numerous pursuits a year.
You know how many times from criminals I've heard? I mean, there was one, I think I've talked about it, like, the driver literally was like, I didn't know you guys could pursue out of the county. And I said, Or he's like...
Yeah, we talked about this in the last one.
Yeah, the myths. Yeah, the myths. Or he's like, anytime a cop's lights turn on, I just ran and they turned off 2 seconds later. Yeah. It's like a kid that doesn't get properly disciplined.
And then now we're going to try to correct it. So the ones who still do pursue, they're going to come and try to correct it. Well, that kid isn't going to listen. He's just going to continue to do it because he's gotten away with it for so long.
Yeah.
Well, now, and then we're the ones have to deal with.
Yeah, and when he wrecks and hits a family, guess whose fault it is?
Right.
It's ours.
For sure.
It's our fault because the 17 other times that he ran from the police and those agencies didn't do dick about it.
Right.
And we decided to fucking actually do something about it because he's got 15 fucking failure to comply warrants because, no one ever fucking does anything about it. When he fucking gets in an accident, it's our fault because we caused that issue. Oh, maybe you should take a look back on the agencies that aren't doing fucking shit about it.
The biggest thing is, this episode isn't to shit on administrations. It's basically, let's say you work at that administration where you're not pursuing anybody, there's other things you can do. You can put a dent in this. You can make a difference. Not to sound corny, you can go out there and make those stops, arrest those wanted people. Everybody is, I don't know why it's been coming up a lot this week with proactive policing or interdiction is not just drugs. It's not drugs. It's guns. It's wanted person. It's anything involving criminal activity. It's
guns, money, warrants, drugs,
Missing
human
children,
trafficking, missing juveniles, endangered old people.
Yeah.
As much as that, maybe that one's not as
It
exciting.
could be a fraud. Realistically, you can stop somebody that's leaving a bank to just,
Yeah. OVIs, the fun ones, where you do a lot of paperwork for a whole lot of misdemeanor stuff. That's interdiction too.
The biggest thing is just don't be worthless. That's the biggest thing. Don't sit in a park. Don't sit where you can't be seen. Don't be that guy that hides, that leaves roll call and then doesn't get seen till the beginning of shift because they sat on their ass all night long in a park somewhere and nobody's seen them. Like,
remember why you got in this job?
For sure.
Remember when you stood up in front of your academy class or the department, because we've had ride-alongs come in recently that want to work for us. They stand up in front of all of us that have been doing this job for a while, and we ask them the big question: why do you want to be a cop? Why do you want to be a cop? We have your own way, so how to make a difference.
Yeah, I want to help people.
Yeah. There was one.
You don't, because you're not 2 years in, you're sitting in a fucking park doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Or, one came in last week. His answer was pretty respectable. His answer was, there's a lot of negative in the world right now. And he's like, out of all the jobs I thought of where I felt like I could make the most impact, it was this one. Now, is that a more cliche and jargon way of saying I want to make a difference?
Yeah, for sure.
Possibly. Did I buy into it a little too much? Probably. However, that statement alone moves bounds.
Right.
There is so much negative in this world, and there are ways that we can go out and prevent those things from happening simply by just going out and being seen on a busy drag. We all got in this job for a reason. You, or a couple of your buddies, can bring back
for sure
and show your agency and show your community why proactive policing is so important. And again, going back to what you said earlier, it's not going to be an instant impact.
No.
There's going to be weeks, months of where you guys are go, 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 go. Eventually, which I think is what we are experiencing at our agency right now, because we've been hitting it for so long, it slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And does it slow down? Is that a negative thing? Maybe it's a little less fun for us.
Right.
But it tells us.
I tell you what, the people who sit in parks or do absolutely nothing, they love it. They're bitching because they come to work for 8 hours a night, and if they get sent to 2 calls, that's a problem because now they didn't get to sit in the parking lot and play Candy Crush for those 2 hours.
Yeah, but where I was going with that too is that slowing down. We know it's not because there's a lack of criminals out there.
No, for sure.
It's because those criminals that come through our town know that we mean fucking business.
And truthfully, it may be that they've just have tried different things and now they're getting away with it. Well, I noticed, so back when I first started our agency, we were just constantly hitting people in cars, smashing them, boom, 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 boom. Well, then we slowly started to realize that these people got smarter because, like we've explained before,
criminals have
experience.
Mm-hmm.
They start to learn just like we do. So then it turned into they're on bicycles. Well, now they're getting stopped on bicycles. And if you have no way of checking their person, or they figured out a way. So now we're slowly starting to figure that out. Well, now they started getting bicycle tickets for no lights on a bike or
no hand
signals on bikes. And they're like, holy shit. Well, now guess what? It's -2 degrees and they're walking down the street with dope in their pockets.
Quick ad, we do a bike section in our class where we teach you
proper
sure. Like, to do traffic stops.
They're learning just like we. So how do we fix this? Is leaders, if you're in a leadership role, be a leader. Like, be that person that is out there fighting for your patrolman, stepping up.
I think too,
remember why you got into this job. It wasn't to sit in a shift office, patrolman sit in a park, sit on the side of the road, do absolutely nothing.
I think in this job too, like, whether you have stripes or you've promoted, that alone doesn't make you a leader.
Sure.
You could be a patrolman in any wide range of experience and be a leader.
I saw this meme the other day, actually. I'll
keep talking. You thinking that
over my head.
Yeah, you're good. You think about it, where I'm going with this before you cut me off. with any range of experience, you can be a leader. You can have people that will come to respect you based on how you treat the community, the work you put in, and the example that you put in place for others to follow. You don't need 5 to 10 years to be a leader.
For sure.
You don't need stripes to be a leader. You don't need to be the cop that goes out and pulls 10 kilos every fucking Friday to be a leader. Is that badass? Yes. And would I be really excited if I did that a couple times? Yes. But again, this job needs people who are more courageous, confident, and have leadership qualities that make the people around them better.
For sure.
Not people that are looking for individual gain, solo awards. We are our own worst enemy, but we can also be our biggest benefactor by picking up the people around us.
Everybody has to be on the same page, though, too.
Exactly.
And you're going to have, there's some people that are just stuck in their ways. You're not going to change it. That's just the way it is. But you can do your part, and these newer officers coming up, especially in today's age, like
one of our newer guys has sent us more dope than you and I have both seized in the past month.
Maybe you speak for yourself. No, but he's one that's bought in. And like I said, I'm not saying that to
know who you are.
Up our own heads, but he's bought in, and
Maybe we'll get him
he's
as a
listened
guest.
to what we said. When I actually told him good job last night on shift, he was sitting there, and we had a whole another conversation about a bunch of other different things. He's bought in. He's
still learning.
Still learning, and he'll tell you I'm still learning. And he'll ask questions when he has questions. But the difference between him and other people is he's going out and making stops. And listen, I'm a realist. Sometimes you're gonna run into some stuff. It's gonna happen. You're gonna run
into that every now and then.
You're gonna run into it. But this is why the behaviors we teach, capitalize on those and realize what's in front of you and do something with it. Don't just be a robot and go up to the car, license, registration, insurance, and get them on their way. Like, do something with it. Don't make 10 stops, have 0 citations, and 10 warnings. And they're all a minute and 20 seconds long. Just do your part. Go to trainings. Learn from your veteran officers that are actually going out there, or younger officers that are going out there, busting their ass, and make a difference.
And we realize too, like, norms at a department may be different than what we're talking about, and the proactive way may not be the way at that department. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stop being a cop.
Right.
That's the tough reality.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to what we preach and teach. Be a leader by example. Go out, make those stops. Go out, establish that baseline so you can make yourself better. Because by you doing that, you're making your community safer, yourself better, and your department better.
At the end of the day, you're not doing anything other than what you signed up to do. The real reason why you're a cop. Like, maybe you did. But speaking from like how my head works is like, I'm not 22 years old and signed up to be a cop to be an SRO. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. Nobody watches Cop and goes, "Where's the episode where they show the SRO?" Or it doesn't happen. People sign up to be a cop to be a cop. So go be a cop.
Disclaimer: some people are put in that position because they're mandated.
For sure. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not picking on anybody in particular. That's what you want to do. You do you. But
don't have the mindset that we all make the same amount of money. That's the wrong way to look at it. Bring back the positive outlook and the determination to be a proactive, go-getter, ass kicker.
Sure.
So I think we've hammered this topic well enough.
Listen, I want to apologize to anybody that feels some type of way for some of the things I've said. I promise I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just speaking my mind, my opinion. As you mentioned, I don't bite my tongue. I just say what's on my mind. You either hate me or you love me.
But again, like you said,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. After 7 years, about 13 years combined experience, we see it. It's out there. So we appreciate you guys for listening. Okay. As always, go out and establish your baseline.
Thank you.
Thank you.